Very warm greetings to all the aspirants. My name is Dr. Darpan Ahluwalia. I have attained an All India rank of 80 in this year's UPSC CSE examination, and I have done my MBBS from Government Medical College, Patiala, and my optional for this exam was also medical science. So I would like to share a few tips that you could too use in this journey and with medical science optional. Now, coming to the selection of the optional. So, many people will be there who will be the naysayers who will say that the optional syllabus is very large, opt for some other optional or a related optional, for example, anthropology, psychology. That's totally your call. But I'd like to explain why I chose it as my optional, and if that gels well with you, then I would say go ahead. It reaped dividends for me, and it would do for you as well. So firstly, I had the belief that I need a good backup option because I knew that UPSC is very unpredictable. You get immense knowledge from it, but at the end of the day, the seats are limited, so there is great competition. So it is a very good backup option if you stay in touch with medical science while choosing that optional. It will help you in the other arenas as well, be it working as an MO or pursuing further post-graduation. Secondly, it somewhere helped me the interview as well. So we had discussions on the medical field, and they appreciated the fact that I continued with my optional as well. And thirdly, with our 4.5 years plus 1 year pattern of MBBS, so we have already studied all these subjects throughout these 5 years. First the hard knowledge and then the clinical skills as well. So I would recommend that we already have a solid foundation. So one does not have to start from scratch, unlike the other optionals that one might perhaps look at. So this medical science was my obvious choice. Another thing which not many aspirants know is that we have a very limited syllabus when it comes to medical science. Just go through the UPSC syllabus which is given in their gazette, and you will come to know that just like a prof exams, UPSC is just a larger version of that. So there are certain subjects, for example ENT and ophthalmology, which are not a part of the UPSC syllabus at all. Then the other subjects also, only very selected and limited syllabus is there if you stick to the syllabus. And according to my best knowledge, every question which has come at least in the past 5 to 7 years, that has come from that restricted syllabus as well. So do not go one word beyond that, and do not read even a word lesser than the syllabus which has been given to you. So once we've determined our optional and we've read our syllabus, we come to the actual part of studying the syllabus. So focus on the definitions, classifications, diagnosis, if there is any particular diagnostic criteria, and the differential diagnosis. Because the second paper of medical science, it is mostly clinical based. So in this, I would say that the optionals which we've done in the later years of our MBBS, they are usually asked. So they give a case, we have to diagnose it. The case is very diagnosable, I would say, and they just want to know whether you can write what is the differential diagnosis and how you would go about the management. So make your notes the first place itself in a very tabulated form. For example, if there is a step-by-step diagnosis, for example, if we talk about HIV/AIDS, so you give the various supplemental tests, the primary tests that we can do, and then the various tests that we do in a very chronological, tabulated form, and you can reproduce that same thing in the exam itself. For example, in GS, I personally preferred not to write the whole answer in a very tabulated form. I mean, I preferred a mix of paragraphs, diagrams, tabulated form, etc. But in medical science, I believe we have the liberty to write the answer as according to our wish. It can even be in a fully tabulated form. Moreover, you have a very limited time, so make your notes such that they themselves can be reproduced. And other than that, I would say if somebody does not want to make notes, then just get those topics photostated, scanned, and then have a ready reckoner which you can revise. And coming to the books aspect of medical science, many people have a debate between the foreign authors and the Indian authors. This is a very flawed debate, because you need to stick to your medical science books which you refer to during your MBBS days. Do not start afresh from any book. For example, in anatomy, if you have done Chaurassia's book, then stick to it. Just copy the diagram, and in addition to that, you have to add the embryology to it as well, and just make the embryology diagrams with the anatomy notes itself. So for embryology, I think most of us, we follow Inderbir Singh, so that book is good enough. Even for medicine, many people have this query whether we should just stick to Matthews, as we did mostly in our MBBS days, in addition to the other larger ones, for example, Harrison. So I think the syllabus, it can be completed from books like Matthews as well, because at the end of the day, you do not need very comprehensive knowledge or multiple pages of notes. Just 1 or 2 pages you have to write on the topic. So make sure you have those crisp notes itself, because they are not going to ask you anything out of the blue. There'll be direct questions. What is psoriasis? What is the differential diagnosis? What are the clinical features? The management. So such type of direct questions are asked. And for like forensic, we have Parekh. So Parekh is itself already given in a very easy to understand format. So you can directly make down the notes, take down the notes from there. Next we come that you can also have a ready reckoner of the various differential diagnoses. For example, if there is the cystic cavities are there, so you can have differential diagnosis of that, this quadrant pain or that quadrant pain, so the differential diagnosis of that helps, pseudo pregnancy and of that sort. And try to make it in a very tabulated form, especially for gynecology and obstetrics. You can have the whole thing written down in a single diagram. For example, when we are talking about the presentations, just draw diagrams and that would suffice. And then in addition to that, cut down your notes subsequently as you revise them. For example, if I'm making anatomy notes of say 100 pages, during my next or the subsequent revision, I cut them down to say 70 pages. And then subsequently, I brought down my anatomy notes to just 10 or 12 odd pages, which I was able to revise before the exam. So this time around, we had a good number of 4 to 5 days in which I could revise. But the same could not be, cannot be said for the next cycle and the subsequent cycle. So make sure that you make such notes which are easily revisable within one night or one day, I would say, and just keep on decreasing them with every subsequent level. So this is for medical science, and I think this pattern I followed, just reading, revising again. Yes, another thing that I remembered was the test series. So many people have this doubt that there is nobody available in any center who can actually check your medical science papers, and you do not have ample of time to practice. So for this, I would say that as a medico also, we already have the practice of writing our prof exams. So the pattern of UPSC is exactly the same as a prof exam. No need of beginning, conclusion, etc. The pattern that we follow in GS exams. So just come straight to the point. You have got only one page to write on that particular topic. So no need for the, at least I did not go for any mock tests, and I would suggest you the same. Just a bit, and there are none available also, any tests, etc. So just take down your own notes, and you better write them in good speed and practice it yourself at home. As such, also the syllabus is relatively vast, so we need greater number of days to revise it as well. Another tip that I can enunciate over here is that try interlinking. For example, tuberculosis. Read it from pathology, read it from Matthews medicine, and you can make very consolidated notes of it. So this also helped me. And then always start a non-clinical subject with the clinical subject. That gives a sense of a balance, breaks down the monotony, helps in the interconnections. So personally, what I did was that I started for some confidence boosting measure with the old final year and the new final year books. And then I moved on to the first prof books, because those are generally whose granular details we've forgotten over the years. So this way you can just balance like old final year with first prof, new final with second, and so on. So good luck to all the aspirants out there, and do not believe in any speculation or any naysayers. Just trust your guts, stick to the optional. It was rewarding for me, and I wish that it remains the same for you. Good luck.